What's up, travellers? Welcome back to the channel. SJ Aviation HQ here. Welcome back to the channel today. Today we have the model review of the Ethiopian Airlines Airbus A350-900 released by NG Models. Of course, before anything though, go ahead and leave a thumbs up below. It'll be a great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. Also there, go ahead and show your support even further by subscribing to the channel. And whilst you're there, din the bell icon, get the notifications on, set them to all so you get all the notifications as soon as the videos go live to the channel. Very cool. Thank you in advance for the support on this video and of course the channel in the near future. So here we have the Ethiopian Airbus A350-900 released by NG Models. The model review of this model here. The aircraft model was released by NG Models in their November 2022 release, their very large November 2022 release, where I've got 9 models from that one release. All of them are in my collection at the moment in my room here. And who would have thought that 3 years later they would have done the exact same thing, releasing an absolute fire December 2025 release, where I am going to be getting 9 more of them, including the Hainan A330neo. What else was there? The KLM Dreamliner, to name a few. And of course, 3 Singapore Airlines 350-900s. Cannot believe that. But anyway, moving forward in today's video, I'm going to read out some information about Ethiopian Airlines as an airline, and then some information about this particular airframe for you guys. And then I'll be showcasing the box, and after that, the main part, showcasing the model in general. So very cool. So founded on December the 30th of 1945 and commencing operations on April the 8th of 1946, Ethiopian Airlines is the state-owned flag carrier of Ethiopia, with its major airport hub at Addis Ababa Bole International Airport, where they operate to 133 international and 22 domestic passenger destinations, as well as 68 international cargo destinations. According to planesbuilders.net, Ethiopian Airlines operates an aircraft fleet consisting of 147 aircraft, including 26 Airbus A350 XWBs, 22 of them being the 900 variant, and 4 of them being the longer 1000 variant, with 2 additional Airbus A350-900s soon to be delivered. So very cool indeed. Ethiopian Airlines joined the Star Alliance on December the 13th of 2011 as the 3rd African carrier to do so, following Egypt Air and also South African Airways. And they became the 28th member worldwide. So going into some information about this particular airframe for you guys today. This aircraft's MSN number, or manufacturer series number, is 431. This aircraft is a 5-year-old Airbus A350-900, particularly a 941, because the 41 is the Airbus designated code for Airbus-built aircraft that are equipped with Rolls-Royce engines. So very cool indeed. This aircraft performed its first flight on August the 27th of 2020. And award the test registration of Foxtrot Whiskey Zulu November Tango, or F-WZNT, for those that aren't too familiar with the phonetic alphabet. This aircraft here was built and produced in Toulouse, France, the main factory facilities that the Airbus have where they build their aircraft. So very cool. They do have the plant out in Hamburg, Germany, but that's predominantly for the narrow-body aircraft. So very cool. But of course, Toulouse is mainly where they build their wide bodies. I do have the narrow bodies there as well, the 320 Neos, 321 Neos, but they also share facilities with ATR as well for their 42s and the 72s as well. So very cool. This aircraft here is active on the network for Ethiopian Airlines, wearing the registration of Echo Tango Alpha Yankee Alpha, or ET-AYA. This aircraft was delivered to Ethiopian Airlines on November the 6th of 2020. It's configured into the following has 30 business class seats and 318 seats in economy class, so very cool. This aircraft is equipped with two Rolls-Royce Trent XWB-84 engines, of course, different to the 97 engines that are on the that's XWB-97 engines that are on the Airbus 350-1000 variant. This aircraft is named Geneva, as you can see on the box there. Of course, Geneva is one of their destinations. Ethiopian Airlines names their aircraft after destinations that they fly to on their network, and Geneva is one of them. Of course, Geneva being in Switzerland, so very cool. And but it was that name came off the aircraft, I believe, in June of 2024, so very recently. And this aircraft was ferried between Toulouse and Addis Ababa in Ethiopia on November the 7th of 2020 on its delivery flight. So very cool information there. Of course, all of the sources of the information that I get for these videos are in the description below as always. So very cool. So go ahead and check them out if you wish to for additional information or up-to-date information, as of course the information that I may have read at just a moment ago may be incorrect as of now. So very cool. So with that out of the way, let's go ahead and showcase the box for you guys. Here is the very stunning box with the Airbus text here on the top of it, as you can see in the red font there, the Airbus font for the aircraft or the aircraft titles. Here is the Ethiopian 350-900, the 2D rendering of the stunning aircraft, looking stunning as ever. Down here we have the Ethiopian logo here with the registration Echo Tango Dash Alpha Yankee Alpha. Very nice. Here we have the Geneva text here with the engine models logo here in in yellow. And then we have the 1/100 scale die-cast metal information here. On the bottom panel, we have some information here, that being the green Airbus 350-900 text here in green. The engine models logo here on the bottom left corner. The 2D rendering of the aircraft there. Very nice indeed, with the registration below that. And here we have the barcode with the item number on it, looking fantastic. Here we have on the right panel, we have the Airbus A350-900 text here in green, and then we have the engine models logo here in white, Ethiopian logo here, or word type here in the middle there, and then the information about it being the scale and the die-cast metal information. These details here, or these details, are identical to the opposite side, of course being the bottom panel. This is the top panel. Only difference is the design on the back of the box. On the left-hand side, it's identical to the right-hand side. Only difference is that, of course, it has the different details on the background of the panel here. Very cool. And on the back of the box, we have the engine models logo on the top left there. The 2D rendering of the aircraft itself in the middle here. Here we have the social handles for engine models. Of course, their Facebook, their Instagram, and of course their website. Very cool. Then we have the barcode with the item number on it. Warning information. And then where the model was made. Of course, in China, based in Guangzhou, I believe, is where NG Models has their facilities. Very nice indeed. Of course, I think this is the only Ethiopian Airlines aircraft I have in my collection that is by NG Models. I don't think I have a Dreamliner from them. I think my Dreamliners are by Phoenix Models, but I would definitely go ahead and get one if I find one or am requiring one. Wouldn't mind a 777-300ER or a freighter, the 777 freighters by NG Models. Hopefully they come out with one of them in the near future. But that is this portion of the video done for you guys. The reading out of the airline and of course the aircraft information and the showcasing of the box. So let's go ahead and showcase the model. And here is the absolutely stunning Ethiopian Airlines Airbus A350-900 released by NG Models in their November 2022 release. And in this portion of this video, I'm going to showcase the model up close to the camera for you guys, giving you some nice up close shots of the details of this model. And of course, giving you some insights about what some of the components do in the event of a flight. So let's go ahead and dive in straight into the review of the model. First and foremost, zooming in for you guys. And here is this absolutely stunner of a model. Love the livery of Ethiopian Airlines. Quite a good one indeed. Might be a Euro white scheme, but it does the job in terms of this aircraft. And here we have at the front of the aircraft, we can see the nose cone. Inside that is a component called the weather radar. Because that is there to detect storms along the flight path of the flight, or any given flight, to give the pilots a visual indication of the rainfall intensity ahead of them. Also the possibility of turbulence as well. This enables them to navigate around any potential hazardous areas along the flight plan that they've assigned for their flight. And up on the top we can see the famous raccoon mask of the A350. Of course, the 350 family were the aircraft family that this raccoon mask was introduced into, of course, now seen on some of the A320neo families, and of course the 330s as well, in terms of the 330neo family. Now the raccoon mask is there to deflect any heat away from the perimeter or the outside of the window shields. So very cool indeed. You can just make out YA or Yankee Alpha, the last two digits of this aircraft's registration, as of course they do have other series of registrations for the 350 family. So very nice indeed. Here we have to the bottom of the raccoon mask, immediately next to that yellow lion there, of course, that the coat of arms of Ethiopia. In the middle of that red outline there is the static vent. I did mention in my review of the Virgin Atlantic 350-1000 that is in the top right corner right about now for you guys if you haven't checked that out already. In that video I did mention that this was a icing detector. It of course is not, so I do apologize for that wrong information. Icing detector is at the bottom here. That of course that is there to alert to the cabin, or the cockpit, who is in the cockpit, for the amount of icy conditions that are nearby. Of course, to automate any of those features on board that combat icy conditions. On the top of this lot here we have the pedo tube, and that is there to measure fluid flow velocity during a flight. And of course the angle of attack is the second one from the bottom. That is there to offer a visual indication of the amount of lift the wings are generating at a given airspeed or angle of bank. Very nice indeed. As mentioned, this yellow lion here is the coat of arms of Ethiopia. Here we have on the bottom, we have the nose gear, as you can see, rolling quite freely on the nose gear here. Very nice indeed, with Yankee Alpha on the aircraft's nose gear door there. Very nice. In the middle of the cockpit windows and of course the L1 boarding door, we have the Star Alliance logo here. Of course, Ethiopian Airlines joined the Star Alliance Airline Alliance on December the 13th of 2011 as the third African carrier to do so, of course, and they also became the 28th full member of the airline worldwide. Because the other African carriers in the alliance, of course, are Egypt Air and of course South African Airways. So very nice indeed. Here we had, as I mentioned, the L1 boarding door, the first of the main cabin doors for boarding procedures. Of course, was the letter L in the abbreviation L1 or 1L, depending on what you want to call it, is to represent the word left, as of course this is the left hand side of the aircraft, of course. opposed to the R1, R2, etc. that is on the other side, the right hand side. They're very nice indeed. Here we have the billboard titles for Ethiopian Airlines. Love how large these titles are, spanning across most of the forward part of the fuselage here, with the cabin windows in between the L1 and L2 doors. Nice showing of the beacon light on this aircraft, not seen on the 787s for some reason for NG models. Of course, the beacon light is that bright LED red light seen on the newer aircraft these days, the next gen aircraft. You know, the 330 Neos, 350s, the 787s. They bright very brightly, of course, or flash brightly, I meant to say. So very cool. Of course, the beacon light is there to show to anyone on the ground whether the engines are about to be turned on or are on, of course, or spinning. Here we have the first of the antenna is just there. In the P of Ethiopian, we can see the L2 boarding door, the second of the main boarding doors or cabin doors on this aircraft. Very nicely done indeed. There we have the bottom antenna on the forward part of the fuselage. There are no more antennas on on the bottom of the aircraft here. Here we have the pedostatic system. This is used to determine an aircraft's airspeed, Mach number, altitude, and altitude trend during a flight. Very nicely done. Here at the middle of the shot here, we can see the landing light. Sorry, this is known as the wing light. This, of course, illuminates the wing, the forward part of the wing, the leading edge, and, of course, the intake of the engine during night operation and, of course, dark conditions, or low light conditions, I should say. Here we have the aircraft's wing light just here. Very nicely done. Or the landing light mounted onto the wing. Of course, the other one is on the nose gear just here, but of course on the 1-to-1 scale aircraft. Now, this is a mandatory requirement for the landing light here, or the wing light, to be turned on within 0 and 10,000 feet. Mainly used when, or seen really, or predominantly seen when the aircraft is departing an airfield or the inactive runway on or in the airport that they are departing from, and of course landing into the active runway as well. Here is this side's Rolls-Royce XWB-84 engine opposed to the 97 engine seen on the 1000 variant. Just there in the middle of the shot, we can make out the vortex generator. Now that is what produces the vapor trail that goes over the top of the wing when the aircraft is rotating out of an airport. Of course, this is used to deflect any of the airflow against the leading edge of the wing just here directly behind the engine. Very nicely done. And of course, we have the Rolls-Royce logo on the side of the nacelle here. Very nice indeed, with the interior there of the fan blades, looking rather nicely done indeed. And then we get to the leading edge of the wing here, showcasing the slats here. Of course, the slats are on the front part of the wing, and the flaps are on the rear of the wing, and the trailing edge. At the end of the wing here, we can see these those small little dots there, the white little dots there to showcase or represent the strobe lights on this aircraft. Of course, with it being an Airbus aircraft, in this review that the strobe lights on this aircraft would flash twice in sequence. And of course, if this aircraft was a Boeing, like the modern day 747-8s, the MAX aircraft for the 737, and of course the 787 Dreamliner series, this strobe light would of course flash once in sequence, very brightly done indeed. And of course, next to those strobe lights to the right of them, we can see the red navigation light just there. Now here we have, on this aircraft, it would be the second generation of the sharklets for the A350 series. Of course, with the logo there of Ethiopian Airlines on the exterior there. Here is the interior of the sharklets done for you guys. Looking rather nicely done indeed. Of course, the second generation sharklets are much thinner and much taller compared to the first generation sharklets. I'll put an image on the screen right about now for you guys to showcase the differences for you guys. So very cool. And indeed, here are the landing gear on this aircraft. As you can see, they do not tilt. on the axis. They do roll, as you can see. Nicely done. Very cool. Nicely detailed there. Here we have the L3 door, not a boarding door, but is an emergency exit door. Mainly very cool. Nicely detailed there. Here we have the next antenna on the top of the fuselage here. Looking rather cool indeed. And then we get to the SATCOM here on the top of the fuselage here. This is what provides the IFE, in-flight entertainment, and of course the Wi-Fi on board the aircraft. Of course, the IFE is seen behind each of the seats on board the aircraft. Here we have some text here. I'm not too sure what this says, but I will put this information on the bottom of the screen right about now for you guys. As here we have the aircraft's nickname, Geneva, of course, one of the destinations that Ethiopian operates to, because Geneva located in Switzerland. I'm pretty sure, I know, as I mentioned earlier on in the video, that this aircraft is no longer named Geneva. I'm not too sure if it has an additional name. If it does, so we'll put the information on the bottom of the screen right about now for you guys. If not, that information won't be there. Here we have a little compartment here for cargo or baggage here. And then we have the L4 boarding door. Can be used as a boarding door or used in disembarking as well. This, of course, via the apron of an airfield, via the air stairs. Here we have where it states the aircraft designator titles for the Airbus A350-900, and this aircraft's registration, Echo Tango Alpha Yankee Alpha. Very nicely done indeed. Here we have this aircraft tail fin with the logo on it. I wonder if NG models will come out with the 350-1000. Would definitely go ahead and get that for sure. Here we have this aircraft's elevators here with that big dot there on this side, and of course on the opposite side as well. They are known as the aircraft's logo lights or tail lights. As the name suggests, they light up the tail fin during night operations or low light conditions to give an easy identification to the people in the control tower about who the operator of this airline is. Of course, it would be Ethiopian Airlines in this case. Can be used as a marketing tool for anyone within or around the perimeter of an airfield, of course, whilst plane spotting or just watching the aircraft alike, to give them the sense to want to fly the airline. Very nicely done. And of course, here we have the APU exhaust, auxiliary power unit, and additional engine on board the aircraft. Of course, there to provide assistance to the engines, of course, or electrical power on board the aircraft. Here we have the APU inlet here, and this little door opens when the aircraft's engines are just being turned on, of course, to provide assistance to the APU. Very nicely done indeed. Let's have a wee look at the opposite side of the aircraft to showcase the differences on this side in general. Here we have an emergency escape hatch on the side of the aircraft here, of course used by the pilots when evacuating the aircraft in the event of an emergency. Here we have the forward baggage compartment on this portion of the aircraft. Apologies for the dirt and dust you can see on the aircraft. It is quite humid in my room at the moment, so that's why there is so much debris on it. Here we have the rear baggage compartment here at the rear of the aircraft. On this side's wing, we can see the green navigation light just here. And of course, here is this side's engine. Let's have a brief look at the underside of the aircraft momentarily, where we see the nose gear door. Of course, the part of the aircraft where the nose gear would retract into or fold out of when being lowered or put up. Here we have the beacon light on the bottom of the aircraft here with the stand hole for anyone who puts the 400 scale aircraft on a stand. Here we have the outline of where the landing gear doors would be. Nice look of the landing gear from the bottom view. And of course the same view for the engines here, looking rather nice. Very fancy indeed, if I say so myself. Here we have the view of the underside of the wings, and the upside down view of the sharklet there, looking nice. Here we have the registration again, Echo Tango goes Alpha Yankee Alpha. And then we get to this part here, which is the ram air turbine. This little red rectangle here, of course, the ram air turbine, that small propeller-like device that drops down below the aircraft to provide more electrical assistance to the engines when need be. Also seen when this aircraft was in testing. Of course, seen in Toulouse for the aircraft, for anyone who was in Toulouse at the time. So very nicely done. And then we get to this, the pointy end or the rear end of the aircraft, showcasing the entryway to the APU here. It was the access way for anyone who was like the ground engineers that are accessing the APU. And that will be pretty much it for the model review, guys. So thank you very much for coming along and tuning into the review of this Ethiopian Airlines Airbus A350-900 released by Energy Models in their November 2022 release. A lot of, as mentioned, alongside the likes of the Air New Zealand Star Alliance 321neo, the Star Alliance livery of the All Nippon Airways 787-9, and other ones that came along in that release. I do have all 9 of them that I wanted out of that release. It was an absolute headache for my wallet, but they were worth getting for sure. If you did enjoy what you saw in today's video, go ahead and drop a thumbs up below. Great indication of how much you enjoyed today's video and of course the content here on this channel. Comment your thoughts in the comments section below about what I can improve on in terms of my model reviews moving forward into the future, and of course your thoughts in today's video. Do you like this model? Do you like this livery? Do you want Energy Model to release the 1000 variant? I would definitely go ahead and get it myself. Whether it's the one with that little African decal at the front or just this regular livery, I would still go ahead and get it myself. Whilst you're below the video supporting me there, go ahead and subscribe to the channel below, and whilst you're there, go ahead and ding the bell icon and get the notifications on. Select the all option to get all the notifications as soon as the videos go live here on this channel. Thank you very much for any support on this channel in advance. If you want to come along and support my whereabouts on social media, go ahead and scan the QR code you can see on the screen now. That will lead you straight to my Instagram page, the one place for where I showcase all of the photographs of my model collection, and of course the insights about the updates, the news, the whereabouts where I am on social media, and of course the network for my model airport, Astra International Airport. If you want to go ahead and scan the QR code you can see on the screen now, that will lead you straight to my Linktree page with all of my social links in one full place for easier access. But of course, if you don't have the means to scan any of those QR codes I just showed you a moment ago, no worries at all, because there are links in the description below and of course in the pinned comment for easier access as well. So that will be it for today's video, guys. The model review of this Ethiopian Airlines 350-900 released by Energy Models in their November 2022 release. Now, if you like this video so much and you want to see some more content on this channel, if you enjoyed today's video and you want to see some more content like this on this channel, there'll be some options for you guys on the end screen. On the left hand side will be my most recent video here on this channel. On the right hand side will be the full playlist of model reviews I've done so far here on this channel. In the middle will be where you can subscribe. But until next time, guys, fly safe, stay safe, and I'll see you guys in the next one.